Good morning, everyone. Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I am unloading the kiln today. Um, as you can see, the kiln lid is open because I have peeked at the top shelf and I have considered hiding a few things that are on this top shelf, but in the spirit of honesty, I will show my mistakes as well. So there are some definite wins on this shelf, but as you can see here, it looks like I forgot that I was putting Bougainvillea over La Motte instead of Studio White. And this glaze tester did not go as planned. I see a few pinholes right there. But there's also some really cool stuff. So this right here is amazing. I have not done this test before, and I am very happy with those results. So I think I might just start bad and get it right out of the way. Okay, it was a glaze test. It did not come out as planned. We will set that to the side. We don't need to talk about that again. All right, here is a refire of the purple vase from last time, and I'm not sure if I might have liked it the other way better, but I don't know if you recall, on the back side it had a chunk of something, and it was, I think, a piece of kiln brick that maybe fell against it. Um, so yes, so I refired this to get rid of the chunk, so now it is at least all one uniform color, but in the refire we really lost the variation between lavender mist and autumn purple. The grapple, speckled grapple, really just covered that. But it's not bad. I do still like it. But the stronger glazes down here by far are coyote, amethyst, eggplant, and then Randy's purple. So those I think were the better combos out of that selection of glazes. Okay, I know this is like a thing, and I've never done this thing where you put the bright color on the inside and winter wood on the outside. So this is Mayco's winter wood. In the inside is Hanson 20 times 5 with Victoria Green stain 7%. I kind of like this as a very, very bright spring green. And I like the way that came out. Okay. Not quite what I was intending. This is actually textured kiwi over Studio Gray, and I guess I just didn't put it on thick enough because it just kind of blue, not green. I'm positive it's textured kiwi though, so I think it just needed another coat. Okay. Shipwreck and eggplant with a little bit of dirty snow on the rim over my Studio Gray. Is Mayco's Enchanted Forest over Studio Gray with a little bit of snow at the top. Snow's really, either I didn't put enough on it or it just didn't move much. So just for comparison, this white on this one is the snow that you kind of see running down. I was expecting it to do that here. I just must not have put as much on. All right. Let's look at our hot mess that we can grind later, I suppose. Okay. So Bougainvillea over La Motte. And on the inside, it's over Pearl, which is a mixed glaze. So what's interesting here is the warm tone of this compared to the cool tone of this. Okay, pinholes galore. Okay, Victoria Green on the inside, and on the outside we have Chunsi foam and a little bit of dirty snow. Dirty snow makes Chunsi foam go kind of this metallic-y green here. But yeah, we're also seeing some some spots there. Chun Seafoam is a glaze that will usually do well in a refire, so sometimes it will go more metallic in a refire, and that can be a good thing. So we will refire that, and hopefully those holes will. All right, mushroom. The mushroom has an iron wash on the underside, and the top is Aurora Green by Mayco over Studio White. A salt pig, and it is lavender mist over white. So that was the purple I was expecting on that other vase, but without that Studio White underneath the lavender mist, it can go a little bit brown rather than purple. Okay. Soft red, Spectrum Soft Red, and Bougainvillea over white. It looks like a lot of other pink glaze combos that I have. Some of them, when you're mixing them, just come out almost the same as other things. This looks almost just like a kimchi sangria or a sang de bouffe or a many of the pinks. When you're mixing them, they're just pink. This is a refire. I added some Aurora to this. It's just kind of plain at the top, so I wanted a little bit more drama there, and that looks good. This one had a little crawled spot on it, and I just added a little bit more midnight to the crawl spot. Keep mushroom. So in this kiln, I didn't have quite enough to fill it, so I was definitely like sort of scrounging the shelves, being like, what do I need to refire? What is already here? Okay, so this was, I'm looking at the base here, I think that's standard 266 clay, and I have a dip in white and a dip in emerald and a little bit of Seltzer Chun on the rim there. Sounds like a lot, but it didn't go very incredible for all that. Oh, this is a refire. And I didn't do much to it. I was hoping it would heal over this spot right here where I had gotten an accidental splash of wax, but it really lost all of its color and is even worse. So I'll have to think about whether I want to refire that or if that is just a sad, sad pottery second. Oh, okay. Mayco Aurora Green over Studio White. Saving my best piece for last here. All right, let's look at this. So this was Shipwreck and Eggplant over Val's Turquoise, and oodles of problems with that. So the difference on this one was that I did a little bit of running hot chowder on the rim. And apparently running hot chowder did not play nicely with Val's Turquoise. I'm going to try to refire it with something else on it. This too, running hot chowder on the rim. And I can see a little bit of crawling here where it looped over. So again, I think it's a Val's issue. So Eggplant, and I believe Chun Seafoam, and then a little bit of the running hot chowder. All right, we'll do the good one. I am so stoked about this one. Yeah, I'm really happy about this. So this is Victoria Green on the inside, just a pour on the inside, and then one coat of Winterwood on the outside, and then a dip in my Emerald Green, which is a glaze that I mix. Really interested to see it doing something so cool over Winterwood. I don't usually use Emerald Green in my layering of other glazes, so sort of a untapped resource for me, and interested to see what that will do in other circumstances. Okay, Val's Turquoise with Power Turquoise and a little bit of seaweed. Seaweed pretty much disappeared, and kind of for those three glazes I thought I would get something a little bit more exciting, but Okay. I think I did a line of Aurora green on this. A dip of Vals at the top and then a little bit of Aurora. Slightly underwhelming Vals Turquoise, which is a mixed glaze, and Power Turquoise by Laguna. This is a little bit of a fumble on my part. I was trying to, I was glazing something else and I dropped a little bit of emerald into the Victoria glaze and I was trying to I'm like, oh, grab something. I'll try to scoop out the little droplet because I didn't want the chrome green in with the other green. So scooped out some Victoria on this white glazed dish and then I did put some Aurora on top in spots. So that's the funny thing about my ring dishes. Sometimes you get really one of a kind ring dishes that you're just like, what was that? Okay, I believe this is bougainvillea over night, and I could have used autumn purple, but I'm pretty sure this is bougainvillea. I'm surprised at that result, but I don't think autumn purple would have given me that result either. So unless there's something I'm not knowing, I had very few glazes open at the end when I was glazing that, so some sort of strange reaction. Okay, this one already had a base glaze on it. As you can see, it crawled right here. So it didn't love whatever I did, and I believe what I did was autumn purple over seltzer chun. All right, another mixed bag of things that ran and things that are cool. You can see my cone right there. It looks like we're almost exactly a cone 6 this time. Right, so this was the refire of the bowl last time that came out a very solid, very boring brown. It had Bailey's red in the beginning. I put some birch, cordovan, and light flux over it. And we got a little bit of variation. The center is kind of interesting. So it's better than a straight brown bowl, but still kind of brown. Another frozen pond plate. This is a clay that I don't love. This is Laguna 70, and I find this clay really hard to work with. It's got some sort of heavy manganese speckles, so it's got that really earthy look, but I have not found many glazes that go well on it. This is a very thick coat of stoned denim with light flux on top. And I think it's fine. It's more of this clay that's the problem. I think that combo actually did something interesting on that clay. Okay, here we are again with the clay. So you can kind of, this is just my studio white over that clay, if you like that more plain rustic look. I also did floating blue and chun seafoam over it here to try to see if I could get anything good to happen. And I think it's pretty good for this clay. You're not going to get, when you're using those darker clays, you're not going to get those really wow bright color results that you will on something like B-Mix. This is the base glaze is Pearl White. That's a glaze I mix. It's sort of an alternative to my studio white glaze that I more often use. The Pearl White is almost like a more of a cream colored base and tends to dull down a lot of colors, but I do like it here with Spectrum's Autumn Purple. All right, let's look at this. Do I like it or not? Okay, what do we think about this? So this was me using a Molica sort of effect on a white glaze. I was trying to watercolor some warm looking flowers. Oh no. I mean, it's not terrible. I think it's kind of cool. It's definitely different from other things that I do. And here's another one I did. Let's think. Too dark on some of them, maybe? Kind of interesting, though. I feel like the technique has potential. Maybe my execution of it isn't perfect yet. Okay. Cordovan, birch, and Mayco's Light Flux. Thin coats of each, so, but very dramatic. This one has an imperfection. I feel like that might have been a mistake of mine. See that little spot there? Yeah, I feel like I might have done this. This is Val's Turquoise and Midnight over Studio White. And it had potential. You can see on the rim is almost more pretty than the outside. The blue in the Midnight is really showing through in that one. Midnight is a black glaze that has some cobalt in it so that it goes more of a blue-black. This is Val's Turquoise only on the inside. We've got Power Turquoise as a base here. And then some seaweed. Sorry if you can hear my daughter yelling about math in the background. Shipwreck just went too crazy on this one. Oh, I have a lot of grinding to do this time around. Yeah, Shipwreck and Val's Turquoise on that one that's all over my kiln shelf, and apparently too much snow. This is also Shipwreck and Val's Turquoise. The combo is good, but maybe only in a bowl to catch the runoff there. Okay. This one is, well, it was Floating Sunset with Heath A2V Ivory, and it had come out just a mottled brown in the middle, and I put some Midnight over it to see if that would sort of change the appearance. I think it's cool now. Still not my very favorite, but interesting. And also in need of a little bit of grinding. Bad luck this time, I guess. Just, here's my cone. Almost an exact cone 6. You're looking for it to be even with that bend in the cone, so pretty close. This is Laguna Sea Gold. Eggplant over Pearl. And that's Pearl, the mixed clay, is not the one that you can buy. Lavender Mist over White. Power Turquoise and Seaweed. And I'll put a Seaweed. This is Dove Gray, variegated Dove Gray if you're looking up the recipe, and Mayco's Raspberry Mist. Val's Turquoise was something that really didn't show up on that rim. I believe it was green tea, but since it doesn't show at all, it's very hard to say. Studio Gray with Seaweed. This is Sea Gold, Laguna Sea Gold over White. Let's see if we can go back a second here. Do I have that other one? Okay. So just as a review, Sea Gold by itself and Laguna Sea Gold over White. This is Spectrum Soft Red with Running Hot Chowder. And that's interesting. That's a combo I haven't done before. You can tell I didn't have very high hopes for it since I put it on the wonky dish, but it's actually really pretty. So I think this is textured kiwi, but as to why textured kiwi went a little bit blue this time around, I'm just not sure. I'm looking at it and I know it doesn't look like how textured kiwi normally looks, but all right, here's the next shelf down. Some interesting things in here. Okay. So the big bowl had lines, first a dip in night, and then lines of running hot chowder and floating blue over top. I'm just kind of comparing in my head running hot chowder to dirty snow on a vertical surface where it runs. I think I prefer the dirty snow, but when it's on a flat surface, the running hot chowder I think has a better effect. So running hot chowder with chuncy foam over it. Sort of another frozen pond little dish. This was some running hot chowder blobs to see that movement here with floating blue, and yeah, again, really losing the shape of those blobs. So I think flat surface only for frozen pond, at least at my firing schedule. Although that's kind of interesting. Here it is here with chuncy foam over top. This is green tea with strontium crystal magic at the top. Green tea going very matte in the center. I don't often use green tea by itself. I just wanted to kind of give it a look-see if I'm misremembering or missing anything, but I do like green tea better over studio white. And with other things too, lavender mist, winterwood, all of those are good. This is ginger, Spectrum's new ginger, and coyote amethyst. And this is sea gold. The blue right here is just where the sea gold touched my studio white. For some reason I was thinking this would be more of a gradient, that it would look a little bit more interesting. Yeah, and as you can see, like glaze flaws throughout. I don't know. I don't know what happened last night in the kiln. Oh. This is Mayco's Micro Pearl. So I did a large test. Well, not a large test, but I did a test on the Mayco's micro glazes, micro crystal glazes, to see them on a vertical surface because I had tested them on my ring dishes last time. So this is micro cerulean. I think that looks really pretty. So a poured coat inside of studio white as a liner glaze, and then brushed micro cerulean on the outside. Okay, this is Micro Pearl and Micro Ash together. Again, I'm using a liner glaze on the inside. That's interesting. They didn't combine as much as I thought they would, so. I believe that's Micro Ash. Surprised to see it going sort of bluish. Spots. Micro Champagne, that's pretty. I like these crystals that we're seeing in all of these. Yeah, the micro crystals are really cool. But I'm out of places to set things. And this is Micro Jade. Yeah, the microcrystal glazes are really quite unique. Okay. Oh, good. This glaze is still good. So the base glaze here is Tauve, and I don't know if you can see the crystals here. This is a mixed glaze, and last month when I was glazing, I tripped over the container of glaze, and it spilled out onto the floor, and there was a lot of cat hair and things in it. So I was scraping it off the floor, and I'm like, So I basically just let it dry out in the bucket for whatever time it's been. And I decided I would try to rehydrate it and put it through the sieve to get some of the dirt out of it and see if it would still work. And it did. So I'm happy to see that that glaze is behaving really well. It's got a really hard, shiny surface. It's a very strong glaze. So yeah, I definitely love that one. Okay. Mayco's Micro Pearl in a bowl. Out of the Micro collection, that's the one that is, I believe, dinnerware safe, where the other ones you would use on the outside of a piece and use the liner glaze on the inside. All right, I just have a few more ring dishes on this level, and then we're down to the refire schedule. Okay, so this was a refire. And the original glaze is Seltzer Chan, and then it's got Vickery OS1 with 1% cobalt, and then Vickery OS2 with lobster stain in it, which is a lot for only moderately interesting ring dish. This was cactus over white. Cactus doesn't usually crawl, so I probably globbed it on rather thickly there, and it didn't have enough time to absorb into the dish. This is Fuzzy Peach by itself. Fuzzy Peach looking really good at that slightly stronger cone 6. Coyote's Amethyst. So I did a little test here with, okay, so this is Autumn Purple over Studio White. This is Autumn Purple over Pearl as a base. And this is Autumn Purple over Lamont. So I don't know if I have a good way to show them all. Let's see if I can take my gloves off. How hot are these? They're pretty hot. So this is the Lamont, and this is it. So yeah, that base glaze can have, and you can see how we lose the red purple. So the Pearl is definitely a cooler tone base than the Lamont, which I would say is the warm tone. So, and I do think that I like, out of all of them, the Studio White base better, but interesting to see them sort of all like that. All right, looks like the Sunrise cup is sunrise. Yeah, I feel like that's not sunrise. I feel like that's, yes, it is, isn't it? Sunrise over Lamont. Interesting. Okay, and these are, I did the same thing with seaweed as I did the last time. So seaweed over Lamont. Sort of going a really interesting color there. Seaweed over Studio White. And then seaweed over Pearl. All right, bottom shelf. Some interesting and some not so interesting. What happened there? Okay. Let's pull it. So the reglaze of the teapot did not come out great. I didn't think that glaze was going to stick very well, so perhaps even worse than it was before. Yup. Sad teapot. All right. Just put that one on the floor. Okay. I think third time's more interesting on this one. So I put shipwreck over this one. It was originally floating sunset and Heath A2V ivory. The outside is doing something really toasty and pretty right there. The inside's interesting too. So that got a coat of Mayco's shipwreck on the inside and just a thin coat, see if it would sort of save the piece. And I think it is much more interesting now. This is papaya and fuzzy peach. That papaya is so bright. Well then. I put some papaya over the top here, and okay, so we're gonna have to figure this out, but this is a glaze. I'm doing a video on basically re-glazing pieces, and so half of this cup has hairspray on it to hold the glaze on, and half of the cup has glue. And so the glue side and the hairspray side, you can actually tell the difference. I wasn't sure you'd be able to or not, so that's interesting. So the original glaze was Studio White on the inside and Tiger's Eye on the outside, and then papaya along the rim here to try to fix something. And it's kind of a mess now. No, I don't know. It's kind of bright and interesting. It's definitely just a lot more drippy than I necessarily would have liked. Triplet Chameleon going a very bad green. If you recall, this was the glaze that I forgot the colorant. I added the colorant, and apparently the amount of green in that Triplet Chameleon glaze is incredibly sensitive. So if I want to try this glaze again, I'm going to have to remix it from scratch. And I don't know that I can do that. So this was textured kiwi, and it had gone kind of pinholes all over at the top, and it was a really nice green, and just textured kiwi has gone really blue in this glaze load, and I'm not sure why, but there are no more pinholes, but we lost all of the beautiful green color that that cup had originally, so let's see, that is not a win. Micro ash. I'm really loving that, actually. Super pretty. This is Mayco's, no, Spectrum Cactus over white. And this is Spectrum Cactus over Running Hot Chowder, and I'm not sure if it's coming through in here, but we are getting more of that green in between the spots of Running Hot Chowder, so I would say that Cactus is another strong overglaze option for the Frozen Pond Running Hot Chowder technique. Oops, sorry. So again, next to the floating blue, yeah, I think the Cactus really helped define those cells. So. Oh, goodness. Okay, so first of all, this is a mistake. I had been doing birch Cordovan combo. I had not fit. I didn't have room to fit this in the kiln last time. So I had this red bowl sitting on it, and I thought the red was from Vickery OS1. So what I had was one coat of birch, one coat of Cordovan, unknowingly put on another layer of Vickery OS1 and OS2. And so kind of the strange speckled bowl with lots of weird variation on the side because I wasn't sure what that initial glaze had been. Okay. Oh, well, that's gorgeous. Sorry. That's a surprise. Okay. So this is Cobra Verde and Coyote Amethyst and Antique Pearl on the inside. I'm surprised that that came out as nicely as it did. Cobra Verde apparently likes that kiln temperature quite a bit. Rose quartz over white. Okay. What happened here? Yeah, I don't know why it looks like that. I believe it's June purple and eggplant. I think I must have put a little bit of running hot chowder on the top there. Or actually, you know what it is. It is June purple and it is Lamont on the top edge that's turning it that color. That's the warm tone of Lamont. So I lied. June purple and Lamont. This looks like crap. Wow. Sorry, I'm not showing the. All right, nail in the coffin, Bailey's Too Red. This is the nail in the coffin. This was your final chance. And it's interesting because you can see that it could do some cool things. Like it's got some crystals, but it doesn't look great with the white, and it just crawled like crazy, and it's just. It was a waste of ingredients, that glaze recipe. A refire. I don't know if it looks better or not. Original glaze was Old Forge Floating Sunset with Heath A2V Ivory. The additional glaze was some Midnight. Yeah, and a little bit of running hot chowder on that top edge, but you know. A refire. Also did nothing interesting. Oh, I think I'll still do the refire video anyway because I think it's important to note that refires pretty much never work, and it's only on the rare circumstance. I feel like when you're looking on Facebook, you see all these posts of, oh, I refired and it came out perfect. It sort of gives this impression of like every time you do that, it's going to come out perfect, when the reality is that 9 times out of 10, the refire just gives you more garbage, and sometimes it's just better to let the piece go. But I had extra room in this kiln, so we did some of that. This is, I believe, the speckled blues over Nimbus over white. And we were refiring the Nimbus because of some pinholes, and the speckled blues did fix that, but they also sort of took away the variation in the Nimbus glaze. So pinholes, but Mayco's Micro Pearl. Refired here. I believe that's Cobra Cobalt here, and then Blue Opal was on the inside. It's a refired. There was Chuncy foam here, too thin. I have added speckled jaded onto the top rim. I do think it looks better. Tiger's Eye just had a little bit of crawling on it last time, so that was a refire, and it looks fine now. So yes, many things. Refire was a dot of autumn purple in the middle, and I think we're good now. I don't think this dish is going to get any better. So yeah, for me, the real winner of this was the emerald green glaze over the winter wood, which kind of is sad because we saw that one on the first shelf. So there's a lot of not amazing in this kiln, but this is good to know because I have a lot of emerald green already mixed up. And so this is a glaze combo that I can really try some other things with and work with. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.